Welcome back to Mock Draft Madness, day 41 of doing a mock draft every single day until the NFL draft on April 25th. If you don't know ball and want to know ball, be sure to subscribe, leave a like, let me know in the comments your favorite and least favorite pick from this mock draft, as well as trade suggestions. So I'm going to do something a little bit different today that I have done in the past, and I don't know how many of these I'm going to do strictly because we only have 14 days left until the NFL draft, 2 weeks away. I couldn't be more excited. I am going to try something out this time that is a little bit weirder that I haven't really done. So I am going to do a first round mock, but I'm going to do no quarterbacks and no wide receivers. So obviously it's not how the draft is going to go, but I'm going to have some different players mocked to different teams. And I think it'll provide some interesting picks here. Like I said, guys, we're 41 days into this. Let's switch it up one day. With the Chicago Bears on the clock, I'm going to go ahead and take Joe Alt. I think if you're able to solidify the left side of that line, you have then Joe Alt, you have Tevin Jenkins, you have Coleman Shelton in the middle, you have Nate Davis, and you have Darnell Wright. However you feel about Nate Davis, I get you. He's kind of okay, not that great, injury prone. Braxton Jones is really good, but you could be better, and Joe Alt provides that for you. Now with the Washington Commanders on the clock, since you can't go quarterback or wide receiver here, I think adding one of the edge rushers could be a good pick for them. Obviously, you got rid of both your edge rushers last year at the trade deadline, and you kind of just have interior players now. And if we look at the depth chart, guys, I'm not going to lie, this mock is going to be a lot harder than I thought it was going to be. And I'm already on pick 2 just because I'm trying to think. So, yeah, they are in that 4-3. So, if that's the case, and I'm looking at their cornerback room, I don't really like it. I'm actually going to go ahead and give them Terrion Arnold here at number 2. Well, actually, you probably definitely need O-line help. Yeah. So I'm actually going to go Talisa Fuaga here. Or should I go Olu Fashanu? I'm a little bit higher on Fuaga just because of his run game ability, so I'm going to go Fuaga. So we have 2 tackles off the board to start the draft. At number 3, we have the New England Patriots. They desperately need tackle help as well. They took Christian Gonzalez last year. So, they could use help at corner. It's not as desperate. I would think maybe, taking a guy that is they have Uche, they have Judon. Interesting. Let's see. I think a guy that could help them is maybe an Olu Fashanu. So we have 3 tackles off the board now. Honestly, like a lot of these problems, obviously these teams have more than just offensive line issues, but if you look at these teams' offenses last year, they just were not that good. And, filling up that offensive side of the ball is crucial. At number 4, we have the Arizona Cardinals. They can really go anywhere here. I think a guy like a Troy Fautanu could be very valuable for them. They need help on the interior of their O-line as well as at tackle. Even though Jonah Williams is there, he's only there 1 year. So Fautanu is someone who gives you 5 position versatility. Los Angeles Chargers on the clock at 5. They desperately need cornerback help. They could use O-line, but it's not as desperate as their cornerback room. So I am going to give them Terrion Arnold unless, I don't know. Actually, it's going to be hard to pass up on a guy like Byron Murphy to beef up that interior of the defensive line. At number 6, we have hold on, let me select all this stuff. So now we don't see quarterbacks or wide receivers. At number 6, we have or should I just take Brock Bowers out then? I feel like I should take Brock Bowers out. Yeah. No pass catchers. Let's just do no pass catchers. At number 6, we have the New York Giants. They've invested a lot in that offensive line, or not offensive line, defensive line. So I don't know if I want to go defensive line. I do think maybe they could use a defensive back. If we're looking at, they have Deonte Banks, and then after that, I don't really know. So let's give them Quinyon Mitchell, a guy to help beef up that secondary. I think Cooper DeJean could have also been a good pick, but I just like the value of a Quinyon Mitchell a little bit more. Tennessee Titans are on the clock. They do need just about everything. I do think, edge is a position that they could target in the draft later on. I don't think it's going to be at 7. I think that's probably going to be an offensive guy. You have Jeffrey Simmons. You have, this is a 4-3 or a 3-4 defense. So I think adding a guy like a Dallas Turner can be a game changer for you. At number 8, we have the Atlanta Falcons. They need D-line desperately. Give me Jerzon Newton. You could also go Leatu Latu or Jared Verse. Really anything on the D-line would help there. Chicago Bears on the clock again, and they took Joe Alt with their first pick. I think it'll probably be defensive line here. I wish this would just stay, but I prefer, because of the medical history, Jared Verse. I really think he would be a great complement to Montez Sweat. If Latu didn't have the injury history, then I would be picking him all day, believe me. So now at number 10 with the New York Jets, they do need tackle. So, I think they need someone with also some versatility. I think J.C. Latham could be a guy that they really like. He can play guard for you as well this year while Morgan Moses and Tyron Smith are there. He's also someone that can play guard. He is extremely strong, and I think it would be a great fit for the Jets if we're doing this type of draft. I also think a guy like Graham Barton could fit for them. At number 11 to the Minnesota Vikings, I think, they do need a little bit of interior help on the defensive line. I don't really see that right now. And with a guy like a Terrion Arnold sitting here, it becomes kind of hard to pass up. I do think, I would have probably had him going to the Giants at 6 and Quinyon Mitchell here, just swapping these picks. For some reason, I had thought and I had taken him with the Arizona Cardinals right here. But now we're at number 12 with the Denver Broncos. If Leatu Latu is sitting here, I think that is a very, very easy selection. At number 12 or 13 to the Las Vegas Raiders, obviously Latu's not going to go 12 in a regular draft. I think he'll probably fall a little bit just because of his medicals. I still think he should be a first-round guy, though. At number 13, Las Vegas Raiders, they need help desperately in the cornerback room, and I am going to give them Nate Wiggins. 14 to the New Orleans Saints. They're in a tough spot because, all of the... I don't want to say all of the tackles are gone, but the last guy is kind of really inexperienced in Amarius Mims. About 800 snaps at Georgia. You could also give them, a Chop Robinson. This is where the draft's going to get interesting because now we're getting into kind of second round. I think if you want to go pure talent, you're going to go Amarius Mims here. At number 15 to the Indianapolis Colts. They need DB help, and with Cooper DeJean on the board, I think that is easy just because he can play safety, he can play corner. Either works for him. Probably better safety than will be a corner. At number 16, we have the Seattle Seahawks. Obviously, the way this draft is working, really not an issue. So I'm going to go Jackson Powers Johnson. They're going to go interior offensive line anyway. So this draft definitely works a little bit better for some teams, better than others. The Jacksonville Jaguars do need a corner, so I'm going to give them Kool-Aid McKinstry to pair with Tyson Campbell. At number 18 for the Cincinnati Bengals, they need a tackle that they can develop, and Tyler Guyton is their guy. He can sit behind Trent Brown. He can sit behind Orlando Brown Jr. He is a very, very big prospect, 6'7", 327. Both their tackles are huge. I think this would be a perfect spot for the Bengals to grab Guyton and develop him. At number 19, we have the Los Angeles Rams. They locked up both of their guards for quite a while. They do need some help on the D-line. They need help in the secondary, but I think maybe adding a guy like a Chop Robinson to play with Kobe Turner could be a very, very good pick for them in this draft. At number 20, we have the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think Graham Barton could be a solution for them because he can play all 5 positions of the interior of the O-line. I think because we're not adding, we're not adding a center here. We could add Zach Frazier here. I think another good addition could be a guy like a Jordan Morgan, who is a pretty good tackle. And to pair him with Broderick Jones could be a really, really good situation for the Pittsburgh Steelers going forward. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give Jordan Morgan to the Pittsburgh Steelers, which means Graham Barton falls right into the lap of the Miami Dolphins. So if we take a look at the Miami Dolphins, offensive line, I like, Aaron Brewer's not bad. Robert Jones, okay. Or Isaiah Wynn, okay. Teron Armstead getting older. Austin Jackson is on a 3-year extension now. Graham Barton can play all 5 of these positions. And if they want to protect Tua, if Tua is going to be the franchise guy, they need a guy who can step in whenever it's needed. I think they're going to go interior offensive line regardless of the type of draft, because they need it. And the way that offense functions, I think obviously you need a good run game and they get the ball out quick. But if you can't run the ball, I don't think that offense is nearly as effective. At number 22 to the Philadelphia Eagles, they need secondary help. They could also grab a linebacker here. So I am going to give them, I could give him Edgerrin Cooper. I could give him Peyton Wilson. I'm going to give him Peyton Wilson, even though he has the injury history and he is a little bit older. I believe he is 20. Yeah, he's going to be 24 when the season starts. But we saw the Eagles last year. Their defense kind of fell off a cliff. Linebacker play was a big problem. Peyton Wilson is a very, very good player. I also think Edgerrin Cooper could work here. But overall, the Eagles have to do their best to improve their linebacker room. Let's take a look at their depth chart real quick at the linebacker position. So we got, Nolan Smith. I like the Devin White addition. Nakobe Dean is there. So they added Zach Bond, who is he was a special teamer for the Saints, I believe, who's pretty decent for what he contributed to the team. Then, of course, you got Bryce Huff and Josh Sweat. This is a 3-4 defense. At number 23, we have the Minnesota Vikings. They took Terrion Arnold, so maybe it's time to address the defensive interior. And Braden Fisk, who actually tested crazy good at the combine, is there. He is a little bit older, but I think with the additions that they made to their defensive line, if you're able to throw him in between Grenard and Andrew Van Ginkel and having a linebacker core of like Ivan Pace, Blake Cashman, I think you are setting up a recipe for success, especially when you have a blitz-heavy defensive coordinator in Brian Flores. At number 24, we have the Dallas Cowboys. They desperately need help on the offensive line, and Zach Frazier is sitting here perfectly for them. Zach Frazier, probably the only true center prospect in the eligible to take in the first round. And I will say this: Jax Bowers-Johnson is a center, and I think that would be his best position in the NFL. But teams can play him at guard if they don't have an immediate need for a center. Where Zach Frazier, he's probably just going to play center. I don't see him playing any other positions. At number 25, we have the Green Bay Packers on the clock. So, Packers fans, they don't want you taking Nubin at all. He doesn't meet the measurements in RAS score. He's still a really good player. I think he would play well against with McKinney. If you're going to go with any of these three corners here, I'm probably leaning Tampa or Lassiter. I like Lassiter a lot, but I'm going to give them a big guy in Tampa. Hopefully that meets more of their measurements. 26 to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They also need corner. And I'm going to give them Kamari Lassiter. Mikey Sanderstill, I think he's a good player. I guess I'm just not as high on him as other people compared to like a Tampa or a Kamari Lassiter. I still think he's probably around that range, but at the end of the day, I would take those guys personally over him. At number 27, we have the Arizona Cardinals, who took Troy Fautanu earlier. They really need anything, honestly. So maybe we could give them a corner. They do need corner help. They need help on the line. So I'm going to actually give them Darius Robinson, because Robinson is someone who can play on the interior and the edge of the line. And honestly, the Cardinals just need talented players to make plays. And Darius Robinson is very talented. So with the right scheme and with Jonathan Gannon, I think you're giving him some opportunities to scheme up some interesting things for him and allow him to cook. 28 to the Buffalo Bills. They need linebacker help. They also need DB help. Their defense just needs help in general. So they have Taylor Rapp. They have Mike Edwards. I think their cornerback room is decent, where I'd want to kind of more lean with line and linebacker. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to give them... Oh, why am I blanking on his name? Oh, Edgerrin Cooper. I'm going to give him Edgerrin Cooper to play with Matt Milano. Do I think Tremaine Edmonds is a crazy good player? I don't think he's one of the top in the league, but I still think he's very, very good. And I think after losing him last year to the Bears and then Matt Milano kind of going down, I think that really, really hurt the Bills. So adding a very good player like Cooper could drastically help them on defense. At number 29, we have the Detroit Lions on the clock. They need cornerback help, and Mikey Sanderstill is right there for their taking. Michigan, home state guy, I guess. I don't know. Does it say where he's from? No, it does not. Okay. Oh, yep. Everett, Massachusetts. Lied my ass off. At number 30, to the Baltimore Ravens. I would say that they do need cornerback help. They do need O-line really bad. So maybe Kingsley Suamataia. I think that's a little bit more of a need than D-line, even though Chris Braswell could be a good addition for them. I just think they have 2 of their 5 starting offensive linemen at this point, and it's kind of hard to win games like that. At number 31, we have the San Francisco 49ers. They need offensive line as well, not as badly as the Ravens do. But I think with Ennis Rakestraw here, that gives them a good addition to their secondary that kind of rounds out the room a little bit. 32 to the Kansas City Chiefs. They need O-line too. Think adding a guy like Chris Braswell could be good as well. So that's what I'm going to do. I think he's probably the best edge available, unless we want to go with a guy like a Jonah Ellis, which I think could actually be a pretty good addition for them. So let me see. Let me look at their size. 6'2", 246. 6'3", 255. I know this is kind of, especially with the recent developments, but what if we gave him Tavondre Sweat? I don't know. Chris Jones, Carl Loftus, Tavondre Sweat. 33 to the Carolina Panthers. They honestly could use a lot. Oop, not just special teams. They need wide receiver, obviously. They need D-line help. You could really go anywhere, honestly. They got their guards. They don't need guards. They don't really need tackles right now. So their O-line is probably okay right now. I don't know how Corbett's going to do moving to center, but I don't feel like reaching for Van Pran right here. Could also go running back. I'm not really sold on the running back situation. I don't like Miles Sanders that much. Let's give him Braswell. They just lost Brian Burns, so. Thank you guys so much for watching. This has been You Don't Know Ball Mock Draft Madness Day 41. A little bit of a switch up. We'll be back to our regular drafts tomorrow. I was sitting there thinking, like, what can I do today? Like, what scenarios can I do today? And I just couldn't come up with anything. And I know this was suggested quite a while ago. So I was like, fuck it. I'll run it like this. Thank you so much for watching. If you don't know ball, want to know ball, be sure to subscribe, leave a like. Let me know in the comments your favorite and least favorite pick from this mock draft, as well as trade scenarios and other scenarios you want me to try. 14 days, guys. 2 weeks. I am so pumped. Have a great rest of your night.